What is going on? Friday, September 26th, 2025. The Gabby Gordon Show starts right now. What's going on? Hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful day. Hope you've had a great week thus far. Week 4 of the NFL is almost underway. Actually, it is underway after that Thursday night game between the Seahawks and the Cardinals. A lot of news to talk about. The Ryder Cup is going on as well. I don't know if we're going to get to the Ryder Cup specifically, but the Ryder Cup is in full swing, and it's pretty exciting stuff, and I live fairly close to the Ryder Cup, so that's pretty cool stuff for me as well. The New York Giants are starting Jaxson Dart. That's obviously one of the biggest storylines of this week. They are starting him. And what that means, and is it going to be a positive? Is it going to be a negative? We really can't tell what it's going to be just yet, and it's going to take time to figure it out. I posted a video on my TikTok. If you look below at the little ticker that's going across your screen, eventually it'll show you my social medias. So please drop a follow on all of them so you don't miss any content and interact with me. I love to talk with you guys about sports. But I made a video about this move. Actually, funny enough, I made a video the day before they announced that they were starting him, saying that they should not start him. And then the next day they announced that they were, so I made a follow-up video. And now a lot of people are excited for this, and I totally get it, right? The New York Giants need to shake things up. When they shook things up and had Tommy DeVito in there, the same sort of excitement was there, obviously at a different level. They're thinking that Dart is going to be their franchise guy in however many years that it may take. I think it's too premature. And I may be one of the rare people who share this belief, but I think it's too premature for a lot of reasons. I think that you're throwing this kid into the fire in a situation that undoubtedly he's probably going to fail in. And that's not on him. The Giants are not in a situation to succeed right now, as much as you may think that they are with him. He's going in there for the first time. There's going to be so many growing pains. And, for me, I think it would have been more beneficial for him to sit and watch Russell Wilson a little bit longer. Russell is a Super Bowl winner, a 2-time Super Bowl appearing quarterback as well. He's been around the league. Like, he knows what he's doing. And so despite any recent regressions from him, I still think it would have been beneficial for Dart to sit a little longer and be able to learn. Because you're throwing this kid into a situation, into a scheme where his only real true target that you trust is Malik Neighbors. The O-line is so inconsistent. The defense, same thing, really inconsistent. I mean, it's not a recipe for success. So Russell Wilson's now the backup. He gets benched. You got Jameis Winston, who's still in the quarterback depth chart. Whatever they're going to do with him, he's just hanging around too. But what's interesting to me is just kind of the way they announced this. And this is directly off of ESPN here. New York Giants coach Brian Daboll really didn't put any insight into why the decision was made. But all he said was, it's my decision. And he continued to pound in there, it's his decision. When I hear that, is it really his decision? Is it Joe Shane? What's the deal with that? Is it his decision? Is he just doing this to save his job? Very possible. Because I got to tell you, at this point now, 0-3 going into week 4, Daboll's in the hot seat. I mean, he really is in the hot seat. He's had time to figure things out, and he hasn't. He's had certain pieces to put together a solid team, and he hasn't. And the talent isn't outstanding. It's not an astonishing team on paper when you look at it, but there are pieces that the Giants have in a foundational aspect that they can use to build around a rookie quarterback and get things going. They've got pieces defensively that they're positive about. They've got pieces offensively that they're positive about. Malik Neighbors is a freak of nature. he is going to be one of the best in the business continuing in the next couple of years. He already is, in my eyes, one of the most talented receivers. And he doesn't get that much emphasis because there isn't really much excitement on the offensive side for New York. But when he does make plays, he makes plays, and he does it at an extent that we don't see very often. And you got to remember, he's only in his second year. I mean, he was a rookie last season, and he still went off. So the conversations that must be going on in the Giants front office obviously have to be something along the lines of, hey, we need to do something. We got to change up what's going on now. Things aren't working, and we have to try and turn this around. There's no playoff aspirations for the Giants. That's not what this is about. There can't possibly be we got to rebuild situation again, because they've been in that theme of rebuilding for like the last 3 years now. So at this point, it's now or never. You don't figure it out this season, I think you got to blow the whole thing up. And by figuring it out, well, what does that look like? I think it looks like at least, I mean, you got to win some games. You got to win some games. And for me, if you can't win like more than 3, I think you have to blow it up, because I get it. You know, their schedule isn't as admirable as you'd want. And especially at the gate, they've been playing a lot of divisional matchups, and that's tough, especially when you have a team that you got a quarterback in there who hasn't really worked with his offensive scheme and these coaches, and there are growing pains to be had. But, you know, it's an interesting situation that the Giants are in. And playing against the Chiefs last week, Sunday night, primetime, they look dead. For the Chiefs, that wasn't a convincing win for me. It wasn't. And you can look at the score and tell me that they put up 22 points, I think it was. And you can look at that and say, yeah, well, I mean, it was pretty dominant. I mean, they didn't really, the Giants didn't really come through and do much. But when you really look at it, and you look at, if you watch the game from start to finish and forget about the final numbers, it wasn't really a convincing win for the Chiefs. And the Giants were able to hang around there for as long as they possibly could. And then what happens offensively? It just doesn't happen. And the defense didn't look terrible. So you've got pieces. You've got an offense that can work if you can execute. That's another thing, execution that the Giants struggle with, and discipline, and the penalties kill them. But you've got the foundation. You hung in there with the Chiefs. You almost beat the Cowboys. Should have beat the Cowboys. That should have been a win. And you held the Commanders in week 1. I mean, these opponents aren't winning convincing wins against the Giants. It's not blowout after blowout after blowout. It's relatively close games that the Giants just look dead in halfway through. And it's not what you want. It's not what you want. And it's unfortunate, but you know, again, it is what it is. So what is interesting again to me is that you've got a guy who's coming in here, Ole Miss. You know, if this is a huge thing, Ole Miss guy, the comparisons between him and Eli Manning and everything, and can Jaxson Dart be the next franchise guy? Well, he's got the moxie, he's got the confidence, he's got the swag, and he has the heart of all the New York Giants fans.
I'll lay everything I have on the line. That's just the way that I play the game. You know, when I step in between those lines, nothing else in the world matters to me except doing everything that I can to win it. So, you know, whatever rep that is in practice, whatever competition it may be, you know, I just feel like I'm a competitor. So, whatever I got to do, prepared for the week, when I'm on the field to win, I'm going to give it my all to do that.
So you see he's relatively locked in. Again, that's all talk, and when he gets into the game, is he going to be able to really pick up on real things? Everybody was very excited to see him because he has done relatively well in the preseason, but you can't really use the preseason as your guide because you're not playing against first-string defenses. So can he pick things up? Does he have the playbook down? I mean, he's been sitting for 3 weeks now and learning, and he's come in for a play or two for the design plays for Dart. I think in terms of athletic ability, he's more athletic of a quarterback than Russell Wilson. And it's also because he's younger, more mobile. He was the 25th overall pick in this year's draft. And I think he understands that he doesn't have to come in being the savior. The problem is that Giants fans think he's going to be the savior. That's a lot of pressure to put on a young kid. So I think he can slow down the moment, but it's important that you do not put all your eggs in one basket with Dart, because a quarterback, as we've seen, is not going to benefit you if you don't have the pieces around it, if you don't have those pieces. And it's not possible to succeed if you don't have those pieces. Dart also said, quote, "I think the biggest thing for me is I want to do my best to be a spark. I want to create excitement on the field. I want to be explosive when opportunities are there and try to bring just a little bit of swagger," end quote. Again, that's ESPN. And that video that you just saw was from the New York Giants account on X. So I think he gets it. I think he's a kid that understands that the moment can't get too big for him, because I think there's low expectations. At the same time, though, I think you're in a predicament where there's low expectations, but there's high expectations, if that makes sense. There's low expectations in the sense that we know that the New York Giants are not going to be this playoff force this year, right? But at the same time, Giants fans are expecting that spark. They're expecting that Dart's going to come in and going to do his job, and he's going to do it well, and that he's going to steal the hearts of all the New York fans if he hasn't already, and he's going to succeed, and he's going to take this organization to new heights, and that it's no longer Russell Wilson. It's not going to be Jameis Winston. It's going to be Jaxson Dart. That's what the outsiders, that's what they are looking for. That's what they're expecting. And I can't speak on my own because I'm not a Giants fan, but I do know Giants fans. Actually, there are two of them in my household. And I had a very heated, I guess if you want to use that word, it was more of a passionate debate about why I believe he shouldn't be starting. They believe he should be starting. And it all comes down to the actuality of it. I can say all these things about how it's too premature. They're going to ruin him. He's going to get hurt because, he's going to be running for his life because the offensive line isn't that strong, and he's just going to fail, and it's going to kill his confidence because he's not going to succeed, and you're putting him in a situation to ultimately fail. But I can only say so much until it actually happens on the field, and I hope it doesn't. I truly hope that Dart gets out there and balls out. I truly hope that he becomes this stud and that he is this huge success story and a blueprint for the Giants all the way through. I hope that's the case. I just don't think it's going to be. There's going to be growing pains, and he's going to have to figure out how to work through it, because you can talk all you want. You can talk about being the spark. You can have the swag. You can have the moxie. You can have the confidence. Once you get onto the field, things change, though. Every guy has a welcome to the NFL moment. He's going to have his. He's going to. It's going to happen. It's inevitable. How he bounces back from that makes the difference. It makes the difference. And for the sake of the New York Giants organization, he absolutely has to be somewhat positive in this matchup. There are going to be so many eyes on this kid, and he's either going to rise to the occasion or he's going to fail and he's going to fall down. And I hope that for Jaxson Dart's sake, because I like him. I think he's cool. I think he can be really talented. I think he's athletic, and I think he brings a lot of positives to the table. I just think it's too early. But I do hope that I'm wrong. And if I am wrong and he goes and he balls out on Sunday, I will admit, and I will say that I was wrong. I will say I was too pessimistic about him and whatever you want to do. But you have to be realistic and say that if the Jaxson Dart experiment doesn't work, and again, there's so much room to wait for it to work because this is his first go and his first NFL start. But if this experiment fails in like another year, 2 years, they have nothing. They really don't. So there's a lot riding on this decision on Sunday. There's going to be a ton of eyes, including mine, on it. And it's really going to be interesting to see how he responds. Let's move on now to a matchup that personally I'm very excited to see. And by the same token, I think the world is excited to see. And it's the Sunday night game. It's going to be the Packers at the Cowboys. And there's a lot of excitement around this matchup for many reasons. Obviously, one being that Micah Parsons was recently traded to Green Bay, like right before the season started. There's a lot of interesting bad blood there in regards to Jerry Jones and how he handled the situation. And Micah, Micah was in Dallas and had the hearts of a lot of fans. And I think he still does, but he has been living it up in Green Bay. He's been doing great. And I think it's going to be an interesting reunion. I really do. And I think it makes it even more interesting that this game is in Dallas, not Green Bay. And I think I saw somewhere Jerry Jones stating, like, yeah, of course we have a little bit more of an incentive to win because we're playing against him, and Jerry obviously wants to be the guy that says, I told you so. We don't need him. Also interesting is that the Packers dropped a pretty ugly game to the Cleveland Browns last week. Like an ugly, ugly game. The offense didn't look good and things just didn't come together. Jordan Love looked shaky, but even then, like, just the whole operation as a whole didn't look good at all. And some of the coaching decisions from Matt LaFleur were questionable. And it was a concerning loss because this is a team that's coming in and we're looking like, and I know it's so easy, I know it's so early to say this, but they were looking like Super Bowl contenders because they come in there and they have no problem with their week 1 matchup. They have no problem with their week 2 matchup. They embarrassed these matchups, quite honestly, and the offense didn't really have to do all that much because the defense was unstoppable. And then they kind of just lay down in the dirt and just get buried by the Cleveland Browns, who aren't great. And so a lot of fans are saying, well, what went wrong? And a lot of it, people did point to the coaching decisions. But it's going to be really interesting now to be playing against a team in the Cowboys who let up over 30 points to the New York Giants. So by that number, if Green Bay doesn't win this game, that's a problem, but not even for the implications regarding Micah and his return to Dallas. It's interesting because there's been a lot of comments on this, a lot of people going both ways with just the sense of him returning and what it's going to look like. Is he going to get a welcome? Is he going to get booed, whatever? I mean, he wanted out of Dallas. He requested the trade. Jerry was like, no, I'm not, you're not going anywhere. And there was bad blood there. There still is. I do think there still is. I don't necessarily know if Jerry's going to go out of his way to go and say, hey, Micah, good to see you. I don't think that there's much friendship there anymore. But Micah Parsons has noted that he's playing against some friends. Dak is his buddy and mentor. And he said that it's going to be painful to try and sack him. It's going to be painful to sack him. And they were teammates for a while. And it's going to be bittersweet, I think. Prescott said yesterday, quote, I hope it's not painful for me, and I hope he doesn't get to me for one, in terms of sacks. And Prescott said it's definitely going to be fun, and it's a teammate reuniting with another teammate, and it's just competing with a friend. And I think there's no bad blood in terms of the players in Parsons. I think it's all how Jerry Jones handled the situation. It was weird, especially when he took to social media and he kind of blasted it out on social media. And then Parsons went back and started posting things on his Instagram, posting quotes and Bible verses that were absolutely directed at the Cowboys management. And then it was just weird, and then it just kind of happened all like that. It just happened all at once. And there wasn't really much else that you could do except just let the flame burn down the Cowboys. And then they got Kenny Clark from the Packers. And say what you want about Kenny Clark. It's been interesting. I don't think he's been all that positive when he was in Green Bay. I think he's an inconsistent, average guy. But Jerry Jones wants to have his I told you so moment. He wants to have that moment. And if he gets that moment, you're going to hear it. So if for some reason the Cowboys win this game at home, or for some reason Micah Parsons, something happens, or he doesn't have a great game, or Kenny Clark has a great game, whatever the case is, or just Dak goes off against the Packers, you're going to hear it. You're going to hear it. And whether or not that's warranted or not because of the Dallas Cowboys organization and the dysfunctional nature of what they've been the last year or so, or even longer than that, This is an organization with playoff aspirations that haven't gone away. year after year after year, this team is coming in with playoff aspirations, and they haven't. They've fallen short. Dak gets injured quite a bit, and the team has been inconsistent. And people are calling for Jerry Jones to get a general manager because until you have a true GM, people see this team as a joke of a franchise because you don't see owners running the show. I mean, unless you're the Colts, where I think she's running the show over there, and that's good for her. But they do have a competent organization at the moment, and they're succeeding in their moves. I think Jerry Jones, if he gets his "I told you so" moment, is going to absolutely take advantage of it, and it's going to be interesting, very, very interesting to see. So I want to go through my fantasy football, and we'll close the show with that. I really just want to talk about the Giants because I think it's so interesting. And then of course one of the big matchups this week, which is the Cowboys and the Packers. I want to go through my fantasy team, both of them actually though, because I don't remember last week if I said I was going to maybe do the trade, and if I told you I did it or not. I don't remember. I genuinely don't remember, but I did do it. So if you're just tuning in, if you're new to the show, first off, make sure that you like and subscribe because, we want you coming back. However, I did do the trade. So if you don't remember what it was, I lost Joe Burrow. He was my quarterback in both leagues, by the way. Both leagues. And I got a trade that was sent to me in one of my leagues. And it was, I had received Bo Nix and Devontae Adams, and I give up Aaron Jones and what else did I give up? Aaron Jones. Oh, and DK Metcalf. I mean, is that a no-brainer or what? And the funniest thing is that when the trade processed the next day, Aaron Jones was on the IR. So, I mean, I think I dodged a bullet. I think that it's great. Of course, last week I lost again, and I'm 0-3 now. So now it's panic mode time. And Devontae Adams is actually questionable. He didn't practice yesterday. So, I mean, he's always questionable, I feel like. But it's slightly concerning. But Bo Nix is a guy that inconsistent, but better than nothing. I also picked up Daniel Jones off of the waiver wire, which was I feel like a good depth decision just in case the Bo Nix experiment doesn't go according to plan. And then of course I got Joe Burrow still. He's just on my IR. And hopefully we get him in time for the fantasy football playoffs if I make it there. So then for ESPN fantasy, that was Yahoo. That was my Yahoo league. This one is my ESPN league, and it's not looking great there either right now. 0-3 again. I mean, this is the worst start I've ever had in fantasy football by far, with 2 leagues. I've never gone 0-3 to start in both leagues. Sure, I've gone 0-4 in one and come back and won the whole thing. So it's not panic mode yet, but we're getting there. And so of course my other league too, I drafted Joe Burrow. So excited for it, ready to go, and he's done, right? So I picked up Jared Goff off of waivers. He was on the waiver wire. I picked him up after he put up 50 points in that domination matchup. And then he put up 12 last week. So that wasn't great, but I believe in Jared Goff. I really do. And the Lions look good. And they're playing against Cleveland this week on Sunday, so. I mean, Cleveland's not great. The one thing that's killing me in this league is Ashton freaking Genty. And I know people told me it was going to be shaky drafting a rookie. You don't know what he's going to bring to the table, but there was just so many people high on him. And he's so athletic, and he just looked so good in college. And I don't know. I don't know what happened, but he has not been good. He's been killing me. And then I got Nico Collins, and I don't know what to do with Courtland Sutton anymore because when I play him, he sucks, and when I sit him, he puts up 20. So that's my fantasy football situation, and it's pretty ugly. And if I come in next week and I'm 0-4 in both leagues, it's time to hang up the cleats. So that's going to do it for this week's Gabby Gordon show. It's a little bit of a shorter episode this week, I get it, but I like to see how things play out, and then I like to debrief them on TikTok on Mondays. That's really my thing. So follow me on TikTok. It's going to pop up on the bottom of your screen as we scroll through here, and I'll let it get there. So I'll ramble until my social media pops up. Follow me on social media because I really want to build a following. I want to start going live, but you need 1,000 followers on TikTok to go live. So follow me. There it is right there. Follow me on socials at the bottom, Instagram, Gabby Gordon with 2 N's, on X, Gabby Gordon on X, and TikTok, Gabby.Gordon with 2 N's. Follow me there. Reach out to me there. I will get back to you. Ask me any questions, any topics you want to discuss in the following week's show. It's a great time to be a sports fan. It's a great time to be alive. Get hype because we're already a month in to the football season, week 4. And that's a crazy thing, and it goes by faster than you can know. So I will see you next Friday, same time, same place, 5 p.m. on what you're watching YouTube. Maybe you're watching it on Spotify as well. We're really trying to expand. We're going to get some guests in here within the coming weeks, some exciting guests. So definitely stay tuned for that. And let's have a great, great week of football. And the Ryder Cup. The Ryder Cup is going on right now as well. So watch that. Go USA. It's going to be great. We'll talk a little bit about that. Maybe I'll make a video on it based on what's going on there. And the MLB playoffs are almost here. The MLB playoffs are almost here. So these shows are about to get jam-packed. So stay tuned. Now is your time to subscribe. Now is your time to get it done. Click the subscribe button, put on the post notification bell so you never miss an episode, and follow us wherever you get your podcasts, because this is going to be a fun time to be alive, and we have a great, great thing going here, and I'm excited to see it go to the moon. Have a great rest of your week, your weekend, whatever you got going on. Make sure you watch some sports. Be awesome. It's been fun. My name's Gabby Gordon. I'll see you next time.